somebody? No? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye or raise your hand. Aye. I'm not supposed to be looking for anybody else online except for our, okay. So I don't leave anybody out. Any nays? Okay, motion carries. And our first item, or I guess it would be third item, the first item for executive session is recommended to dismiss for executive session under pursuant to ORS 192.660, subsection 2, subsection F, to consider information or records exempt by law from public inspection.
So moved. Your motion, go ahead. I'm trying to get Marty in there. There we go. God, we look like a motley crew. don't we?
I know. No. Come on. That's fair.
It is odd staring at yourself up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little disembodied, like,
Yeah.
but not how I look.
No. Get this party in the room.
Okay.
All right, we are reconvening from executive session and do we have an action item from your executive session? Do I have a motion on the floor?
Yes, I move we uphold the decision of the superintendent on the complaint appeal, that was filed under board policies AC and KL. And that we delegate the authority, of the board chair, to the board chair to respond to the complaint.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All right, is there any discussion? Kevin's not here. Arnie?
Aye.
Adrian?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Addie?
Aye.
I vote aye as well. Motion carries. Did we already approve our consent agenda? Okay.
I move we approve the consent agenda.
Any discussions or additions? And then super vote, Arnie?
Aye.
Aye.
Addie?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Aye as well, motion carries. And public input, do we have anybody up?
We do not.
Items for information. Yay, car raffle.
It's me.
Where's James?
Yeah, I said to go back to work.
Oh,
I mean, where are you going? Either way, I'll just stay here. I'm Anthony Hernandez, the owner of Coos Bay Toyota. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be a part of Coos County and Coos Bay. I met with North Bend School Board last week and I'm excited to see you guys this week, but I want to talk about the car raffle. This car raffle is an opportunity for me to be able to give to every club and every team, right? Just like you guys do, I have a budget and I can only do so much. So this gives me the opportunity to get the kids out, working for a little bit of the money. But this car, it's $10 a ticket. Any club or team or anything inside of the school districts can sell tickets and 100% of the proceeds go to each one of those clubs. The football team or the cheerleading squad or the chess club sells a bunch of tickets, that all goes back to that club. The person that wins it, the only thing they're paying for is the tickets they paid. So I know that they had talked about it in one of the school board meetings. I wanted to come and represent myself because I wasn't able to make it to that one. But the person that wins the car, there's no taxes, there's no fees, anything like that. I pay for all that stuff as well. They're winning 100% car. If you haven't driven by the store, it's fully wrapped. One side is North Bend, one side is Marshfield. And
Yeah,
you see it when you're coming in.
Yeah, you see the
Going to bed, you see the Marshfield. You're going into North Bend, you see the right now, the way we got it set up, really excited about the opportunity. I came from Idaho Falls, Idaho. I've owned the store for almost 2 years now. And we've done this for many, many years in Idaho Falls and Rigby. So Rigby, Idaho is about a town of about 8,000 people. They raised $60,000 the first year. They raised $80,000 the second year. They raised $160,000.
wow.
So, and 60,000 of that was just the media club, because they wanted new equipment. They wanted all the stuff to be able to have the future that they wanted to have in that media department. So I'm hoping that we can create that camaraderie between the school districts, of course. I know that that's already there. It was well before I got here, but I'm encouraging it a little bit, so that you guys can help raise money for each school district and see who can raise the most. But it gives me the opportunity to donate to everybody and have the kids put a little bit of work in to try to get what they want. So I didn't know if there was any questions. I know that we've been working on the back end of the financial side of it. Yeah, we met on our financial review type of it, but I'm here to help support and do whatever I got to do on my end. And I'm really excited to see what we can do. We'll give it away at the halftime of the football game, of the rivalry game. And then we'll announce the car that we would do next year if that's what you guys want to continue to do. I'd like to continue to do this and get that enthusiasm, because I've seen what it can do. It just takes all of us being on the same page and being on board with it. So, but I didn't know if you guys had any questions for me, and
No,
I know that-
thank you so much.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's easier to do it this way than tell some kids no, some kids yes.
Yeah.
It gives everybody an equal opportunity.
Love it.
So,
But you are Coos Bay, Toyota.
yes.
Yeah.
I told North Bend, my wife made the logo, right? When we bought the store. It's got the North Bend Bridge. Trying to accommodate to all. And I live in North Bend, but no, I'm just here to try to give back to the community. It's, like I said, it's a great opportunity. Education is the biggest thing. I've been to the school now and taught a class on financial management for buying cars, which was a great class. But the education of the kids is the biggest thing, and there's nothing more than giving these kids the opportunity to try to give themselves a better life, for sure.
Thanks very much.
Yes, but is there any questions you guys have for me, Walt?
And not a question, but I also want to thank you that you hired a local company to do the wrapping of the car. So it's a benefit for everybody. It's a great thing.
Yeah, and I'll continue to do business locally. I'm a big fan of local business and local community. So, and whatever I can do to.
We'll be sure to call you.
Yeah. It's not even so much to promote business, it's to help the kids. That's really the biggest picture. So yeah,
Yeah.
it says Coos Bay Toyota on it, and I'm gonna put my logo on there. But it's really to help the kids. I don't want it to be, I don't care what you guys buy. You guys buy a car. It's for the kids, so that's the biggest thing.
Well, that's
100%.
wonderful.
Yeah. Most of you guys have my number, some of you guys don't. You know where to find me.
Yeah.
I gotta write that down there.
Yeah.
Is there anything else?
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Thanks for letting me.
But if any of us need cars,
You know where to find
that's right.
me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
On a side note, we're starting the first year doing just the two competing high schools. So the high school groups, the first year, we are selling 7,500 tickets between the two districts. That's the goal. $10 a piece. So we have the potential to earn the 75,000. We are hoping that most of that is earned by Marshall High School clubs, obviously. So,
That's the mission.
yes. Yes, just at the high school level. So designations, you sell your booties off. Right.
All right, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Way to kick it off. Okay, so next up, we've got our out-of-state travel. Hello.
This is
Mm-hmm.
Hello. Unfortunately, I couldn't get any of the kids coordinated. A couple of them are involved in athletics, so they're unavailable, and one of the others just could not get a ride. So. So this is just a quick recap of what the events are for the out-of-state travel. And then I've also included in there just a recap message from the engineering firm that we've been working with to help do the patch job on KMHS. So starting with Skills USA, a number of our students, not just broadcasting, but our manufacturing students, our information technology students went and competed at Skills USA last month, which was a fantastic showing for Marshfield programs. Not only did we place in a number of the competitions, but we took home quite a few first place finishes as well, especially with our manufacturing program. Our radio and TV teams won both of the media competitions that were available there. And all of the first place winners are invited to compete at the national conference competition, which takes place each summer in Atlanta. It's a really quick turnaround, fundraising and whatnot. So you'll see on here some of the expenses. We found out after the fact that we have to stay at a Skills USA approved hotel, and that really jacks the price of the event up. It's going to be nearly a $10,000 trip that we need to fundraise and cover to make it happen, with the addition of the extra hotel fees in there. So as you can see, the hotel for 4 students and myself will be $5,837 for the week in Atlanta, where we were told we have to stay, whereas we had originally planned on a Vrbo, which We were looking at about $1,200 there. So you can see quite a big difference in, the expense there. And then looking at airfare cost today, it's going to be just under $4,000 for that. And then, of course, the addition of meals, spending money, that sort of stuff. So our ideas for fundraising are taking advantage of the car raffle, letting the students go out and sell all they can between now and the time the card is given away. And then also, we put together a sponsorship letter for them to approach businesses directly to see if any of them would be willing to sponsor their trips to Atlanta. And what we'll need to do up front though is because registration dues and whatnot are coming up, we'll need to front the money. And the only way to do that, our Skills USA fund cannot cover it. So we're going to have to use KMHS funds to cover the trip up front. So we'll need approval to spend a little bit of money, as you can see there, because that well exceeds what we can just go and turn in a PO for any day at the office there. So we'll have to get the trip request in, and of course, we need approval for an out-of-state trip. And we're seeking that for this trip, as well as on the back page, if you turn that over, you'll see CBI, which is College Broadcasters Incorporated, member-driven organization which serves students and student media through events, programs, and a network of experts and expertise throughout the field of media. They are about fostering experiential learning, professional opportunities, and advocacy for the success of student media programs. KMHF is a member of this organization, and we'd like to take part in their annual conference and competition in the fall, which this year will be October 23rd through 26th in Seattle. Conference expenses there are $110 per individual if we book their registration fees by the early bird deadline. They do have hotel rates there that they can get in downtown Seattle, starting $197 a night. Of course, we don't have a restriction on where we get to stay at this one, so we can look at Airbnb and Vrbo's for saving there. And then students are able to compete in up to let's see, there's 34 competitions combined between audio, video, and digital categories, whereas at Skills USA, we had 2, and we won both of those. So we'd like to go and compete at that as well. That's against college students and high school students, media programs from across the country, and it's another good opportunity for the kids to go and compete and learn more at a program that's more directly in tune with what we're doing at KMHS. So those are our 2 out-of-state travel requests that we have for the students this year. A trip June 24th through 28th with travel dates of June 23rd and 29th to Atlanta, and a trip October 23rd through 26th with travel dates of the 22nd and 27th.
It's exciting, yes.
Yeah.
So don't we already have a per diem already spaced out so that they would know, like, per person, depending on where they're going? Like Seattle per diem for staff typically?
Yeah, for staff.
So probably apply that to students on what you would need to earn, I guess, if you guys were gonna be doing that.
Yeah.
So that you would already have numbers, that you just have question marks in there. So that's just really, sounds fun. So.
So we need a motion?
It sounds like you need 3 things. It sounds like you need a motion to move $10,000 from a line item in KMHS's budget. And then you guys are gonna fundraise for that back.
Yeah.
Hotel.
Well, we're going to have to get this booked sooner than later because there's such a crunch between when we found out and it is. So, we're going to need to book the airfare sooner than later as well. So we might as well do it all one shot. And
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's 2 weeks away, so the airfare's gonna get more and more expensive.
yeah, we didn't even get the final information from Skills USA themselves until last week. So we got it Thursday evening, and Mr. Crook and I Friday. He was at a competition, and I was at our staff development. We're trading messages back and forth, since he's the lead advisor. He's like, okay, they asked me this. I'm like, okay, we'll do that. And what about this? Okay, we'll do that.
There is the funding authority to do that. I think the real question is whether or not it's allowable from KNHS funds because the board runs the radio station.
Okay,
So that would be
okay. So you would need, that's why you need
You're,
approval.
Yep.
Yes, okay, okay, that makes sense.
So typically, right, I mean, we would, typically the board required to be out,
Right, we've got those two, but
but the financial stuff is generally not something we generally.
so that, but KNHS,
so I'm asking you to spend your,
yeah. Because it's under our,
Oh, that's right.
our limit, it's second.
That's right. We own-
It's so strange, but yeah. So, okay, do we have any other questions, comments? Make a motion.
I will move that we grant permission for the program to go to the 2 events and that that the finance people work it out with them about resources ahead of time. And then I hope that they can sell their 1,000 car tickets and pay all of it. So,
Yeah.
but I will move that we approve the out-of-state travel.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I second that.
Any other discussion on that? Let's go for a vote. Patty,
I,
Adrian,
I,
Marnie,
All right.
David.
Aye.
I vote aye, so yay on the travel. I wasn't sure if he had mentioned in that to approve the KNHS dollars.
yes.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so you're all set. Thank you.
and congratulations
Yeah.
to all of your students.
Thank you. I will tell them all again tomorrow how proud we are.
Yeah.
And the way they represented us at the competition. And as a matter of fact, one of the students, they're seeking more student leadership for the state level Skills USA, and Lily Brown, one of our students in the program, she is in the process of doing the paperwork to join state leadership.
Oh, nice.
They should be prepared for June weather in Atlanta. That's what-
I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Used to live, I told them they're not
Like a pool.
like it's not like anything they've experienced here in the summer.
No, it'll be all air conditioned.
Robin, do you have any? Oh, I'm sorry. I got ahead of myself there, sorry. So this is just a recap. We had sustained some damage during the storms that came through that first week of March, right before the 3A tournament, or right at the start of it. And we were able to connect with Woods Communications, which is based here in Oregon. And they got out and did a patch job to get us back on the air. What had happened was we had taken the tower to the lightning strike. And it severed one of the vertical guides wires that helps hold the tower in place the way it's supposed to. And with where it severed, what was happening was the metal cable was flapping back in and touching the tower, grounding it, which was sending electricity back down the tower, and it kept knocking 1420 off the air 3 times a day. So for about a month until we were able to get this done, I was out at the towers like 2 or 3 times a day, turning us back on. So that it would maintain legality. But while they were there, they did inspect the tower. They did a patch to get the guy back in place. It would quit doing knocking the AM off the air. But the damage was a little more extensive than what I had hoped for when they came back through. So they were able to restore temporary service, but damage to the primary FM transmitter, which was not in use at the time, it's still on our power, did suffer some additional damage. They went through and inspected that, took it apart. They estimated the rebuild cost of that would be $10,000 to $15,000, whereas a new one will cost us $15,000 to $20,000. So I'm waiting on them to get numbers back to me on that for the replacement of our primary transmitter. It also damaged our backup transmitter for the FM. We're operating at extremely low power right now, which forces us to file with our attorneys out of Eugene what's called an STA to inform the commission that we're not fully taking advantage of our bandwidth, but it's because of an issue we're having, and we're working towards resolving that. The problem that we ran into with that is that it is an old discontinued model of transmitter, so it has taken them a while to source parts to repair it. The company that made it is no longer in existence. So, they called me just today and said he was able to find all the parts to get that done. So in the interim, he is going to bring down a longer transmitter to hook up, put us back at full power, so he's able to restore the backup to full power. And then, he is also, going to look at another transmitter for 1420, which does not have a backup this time. And that is our primary station because it is our commercial radio station. So it's the one that earns the lion's share of our revenue for the program. So we want to make sure we are able to have a backup for that, get it prepared so that it's back to 100% as well. So as I look here, oh, and the other thing, while they were climbing the tower, they did notice that a number of welds had broken on the tower. So they will need to go back up and re-weld the tower. Again, he feels that it's all part of the lightning strike that took. So he has also been put in communications with our insurance person, just trying to get them to connect, see where that goes, and fingers crossed they're able to pick up a good portion of that repair bill that's going to be coming our way.
So we own a radio station, but it's not in great shape.
I would like to say it's in better shape than it was a year ago. So.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, thank you. I just imagine you out there with like the antennas and just like, well,
Back to the future.
You know, it's not quite that level, but there were a couple of days where it was like, if you've never been to our site either, it can be a little tricky depending on the day getting back to the actual transmitter, because of ground conditions. And, the night of the 3A tournament, when it happened and I noticed we were off the air, it was already dark. We had a storm going, and by the way, no one had to go to our transmitter without telling someone you're going to be there. And I was looking for somebody. We were busy. It's a 3A tournament, so two of my students were there. I'm like, listen, if you guys don't see me back here, awesome. And Lily Dubasar, I got back and she was like, I just went and told my mom and dad that you were not back yet. And they're like, what are we supposed to tell them where I am? And I'm probably stuck. And I nearly was, but it was, and there were a couple of days we went out to turn it back on, and we turned it on. By the time we walked back to the car, it was off again. So we turned right back around, walk over, just wishing for days that on the coast was not a lot of wind. Which you don't get many of those. So that steel cable just kept flapping in there, just knocking us off every time.
So do you have an idea about what's likely to run? I mean, I obviously don't know what insurance will look at or not, but.
Minus the transmitter replacement or the addition of a backup for the AM, just having them come out and do the tower climb, the inspections, and then just patch the cable together was just a hair under 4,000 for the day. So, part of their recommendation is actually to replace those vertical guides because, like I said, they took something that was snapped by lightning and they pulled it together and clamped it together. So right now, that's what we've got. So to replace it, a single cable, their suggestion is to replace all three. So in my head, we're probably 15 to 20,000 in full repairs.
20,000
Yeah.
at least.
That's not including the.
The transmitters.
No.
The transmitters will push us 40 to 50.
It's gonna be 60. I understand.
Easily. I could will. Maybe we find a deal somewhere. I did try to make some connections while I was in Las Vegas for my professional development event and talked to a lot of people with a lot of transmitters and, hey, we're a school, really use your favorable rates, or even, hey, you have a new product, you'd like somebody to beta test in the field for you. Like, we could be that for you.
Great, keep working it. Thank you.
No problem.
Any other questions?
You haven't offered to let them name the station.
Not yet. That's coming up. I'm saving that back for a special partnership.
Allegiant now.
Yeah.
Amazon, but yeah.
The radio tower is insured for approximately 120,000, which is great news. The deductible is only 5,000.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, they're working together, the insurance company and Wood. They're trying to get in contact so they can take pictures, but they're working on it as of April 23rd.
Nice.
It's all a result of the lightning, everything.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
What? The crazy thing is, It hit right in our, lightning insulator that's supposed to protect it.
Well,
Instead it attracted it. I'm sorry.
I'm sure the lightning might have hit the roof.
I know. All right, our MHS student rep. You don't look like Mallory yet.
No, I'm
Yeah.
filling in for Mallory. She is currently at tennis district in Crestwell. So past, not this past weekend, but the weekend before that, we had prom and roughly 200 students showed up for that. The charity program bracket, the charity program thank you was just a couple weeks ago, and Gannon Frost and Gracie Peach were found the winners of that event. Earth Week, a moon tree was planted, and SNHS had a cleanup. ASB had some spirit days. Coos Bay Toyota visited the personal finance classes, and they talked about the proper way to buy a car, as he just talked about. The job fair in the main gym was a success. About 250 students showed up to that. The scholarship assembly is the May 22nd. It's at 1 o'clock, and the end of the year awards night is at 5:30 to 29th. We have Midsummer Dream. It's a play that the Drama Lab is putting on, and that is the 17th and 18th at 7 and the 19th at 2. There's a choir concert on the 23rd. The 30th is the Memorial Day Assembly at 11:10 during at the high school. AP testing the next 2 weeks. Already been through 2 of them. It's the third one. But yeah, the 32 students took the SAT and 9 took the pre-ACT. Senior signing day is on the 31st. All the seniors are gonna like sign a paper saying what college or whether they're going to the workforce or trade, which is a new thing that the principal is enacting. Disaster simulation is also on the 31st at 2. Senior blessings is on the 4th. The charity program car wash is on the 8th from 10 to 2. Graduation is also on the 8th. ASB elections are coming up. The new juniors are stepping up and they're running for the positions. There's a couple that are uncontested. Tatum Montiel is already going to be the president. Only one person running for that one. And yeah, there's other positions that are going to be contested, and I think it's going to be a good next year. Hopefully they'll love to continue on some of the things that I've implemented as myself as president. One of our people in ASBD, she implemented a new thing called Senior Assassin. It's been pretty fun. All the seniors have enjoyed it. It's like a little thing with water guns and try and get your fellow seniors out. It's a pretty fun game. It's interesting. Sports, softball won the league championship against North Bend. Baseball is 4th in the league and is also going to playoffs. Track districts just happened this past weekend. Joseph Herbert placed in our 4x1 and 4x4 teams both placed. Joseph Herbert, he also placed in the 100 meter, and they got 2nd overall. And Bodie Lutz did really well, so we're sending some people to state and hoping to see if we can do 3-peat. We won state the past 2 years, so we're seeing if we can do it a 3rd time. Golf boys finished 4th, girls 3rd, Bella Roberts 4th, and Annalise McCord 5th. Tennis, the girls are right now at districts. Morgan Picotti and Gwen Button are 1 match away from making it to the 2nd day. Mia Schaefer unfortunately lost her match that if she had won, she would have made it to the 2nd day. We have some other people that won some matches, a couple other losses. If Gwen and Morgan do win their match, and then they win 1 match tomorrow, they'll make it to state. And then boys tennis districts is this Thursday and Friday, and our number 1 doubles team is ranked 2nd in the districts. That's pretty good, and hopefully we'll have some success there. And speech and debate took 4th in state, and boys volleyball had a home game on the 9th. And they're doing okay. It's their first year as varsity volleyball team, so they're a little rough around the edges, but they're doing all right. Yeah, that's everything.
Thank you.
What is the seniors' last day?
The seniors' last day is the 5th.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's all.
David is pulling up a slideshow. Just wanted to highlight our education celebration that we had last week in honor of Teacher Appreciation Week. Thank you, Addie, for coming, and no guilt to those that couldn't make it. It was on the most beautiful day of the year.
Yeah.
And so there wasn't a ton of people there, but it's always fun to mingle and just simply name some people that have been recognized this year. So for starters, we always recognize our probationary graduates.
There they are.
Yeah. They're very cute.
Trying to not set up an infinity screen here. They didn't pick up that.
Like her. It's not gonna be very exciting.
Oh, well, go back to the.
Yeah. But I don't have it written down either. So.
Yeah. Okay.
So, just backing up a little bit, I think, I could speak for, on behalf of all of our members in our licensed union, saying we were very spoiled, last week for Teacher Appreciation Week. I know in my building, it's with a lot of sugar and food. And so, great fun, and you can go ahead and go to the next. So that was on May 9th, last Thursday. Next. Probationary graduates, these are the people that have, are in their third year of probationary status. We'll move on to contract status next year. And we are appreciative of the fact that they're continuing in Coos Bay schools. So we honor them with a small but hopefully appreciated gift card to a local coffee shop. So I'd like to just name those people: Jordan Atkins from Eastside, McKenna Jansma from Eastside, Whitney Sweet from Eastside, Kevin Brightville from Madison, Laura Harbolt from Madison, Lorelei Lambert from Madison, Haley Starks from Madison, McKenna Broder from Millacoma, Susie Jackson from Millacoma, and so we all, and Susie Jackson, she's really been around for about 20 more years than that. Kirsten Martin from Millacoma, Amanda Rao from Millacoma, Kimberly Agricola from Sunset, Jasmine Hill from Sunset, Roman Munoz from Marshfield, Bryn Terhar from the junior high and the high school, and Annette McFadden from Destinations. Great. Yay. Yay. So these are the Going the Extra Mile that we give each year, and they're nominated by peers. So I believe we have 11 of them. I'm not going to read all the fine print for you, but I'm going to share this slideshow with administrators and school board so that you can read what was said about them, as well as members, because if they weren't in attendance, they didn't hear it either. So I'll share this out, but I'd like to just name them that Amy Barr from Little Pirates Preschool was nominated for Going the Extra Mile this year, as well as Andrea Ball from Eastside. And next, Amelia Ed from our K2 instructional literacy coach. I guess that's her title, I'm not really sure. Randy Pitts, ELL at Sunset and Madison. Next, Carrie Field from Marshfield in the English department. Amanda Johnson, Marshfield Social Studies. Jonathan Hill from Science Department of Marshfield. Kim Agricola from Sunset. Jen Marie Frangopoulos from Sunset. Jasmine Hill from Sunset. Erin Ralston from Sunset received 2, so listed there. So I believe that was the last of the Going the Extra Mile awards. And then we have 2 retirees this year from our unit that I've been made aware of. Doug Landrum from Marshfield, as well as Leah Nortness from the junior high, both retiring. Neither were in attendance at our party, which is very common. I spoke to that. We're a humble group as far as I can tell, because retirees don't like to be recognized. I found that they intentionally don't make it, but, I don't know if it's true for either of those, but, either way, we will, I will be here to help celebrate them, alongside you when you do it next month at the June board meeting.
Thanks.
And that's it. Great, unless you have any questions.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
It was a wonderful event honoring the teachers.
That's pretty good. It was fun to visit with you.
All right, OSBA, there you go.
Sorry for a second, that gave me a small emotional moment. You might have seen up there, which is very frustrating because it's not something that I can come up. My dad is Doug, and I still remember being 8 years old when we were first in the district. We worked here, we started a teaching group. And I remember taking pictures in front of Sunset School with him, like before this, and with the dog. Like, and I know that I have a parent retiring, and like, yeah, a little. Did I mention sorry for sleeping at night? Take a moment on behalf of OSBA to say thank you, and that we really appreciate our peers and educators of our certified staff. And even though it's still not, or it's not Teacher Appreciation Week this week, we appreciate you guys every day, the partnership that we have in educating our children. Just a few updates. I don't have anything big or huge. It's just that we have been working on the reclassification process and updating some job descriptions to make them newer. We have talked about before, and so that is an ongoing process. And then also excited to see some training key opportunities that will be available this summer for classified staff. And I had another note on here, but I didn't finish writing thought. And then our staff spotlight, I have seen that destinations and Little Pyramids and online are going to be our school spotlighted. And so we had chose a educational assistant, Robin Melton, from our preschool to spotlight. And there's a little blurb from the teacher that she works with up there for you guys. But she's an excellent team player and communicator. You'll often find her playing, dancing, and acting silly with her preschoolers. And she jumps in where she's needed with a positive attitude and a smile on her face. And she even will sub for the teacher when the teacher is out and step into that role. And she's just really out there around her. She just kind of lightens and brightens the room. So that is our spotlight for the month. So if you have any questions or anything.
Oh, it's really nice. Thank you.
You're the only one on
I
our.
know. Did we lose everybody else? Oh. So just already.
I'm here. I'm still here, yeah.
All right, yeah. Our featured school, we've got Destinations Resource League, CBD9 online, Little Pirates, and so. Oh, good.
I noticed they're all gonna need to go buy yourself.
All right, so Carly's gonna talk first about Little Pirates.
Okay, I'm gonna keep it short and sweet in an effort to maintain time and also Kayla talk. We are still holding strong at 72 preschool slots. We have 54 of those slots being funded through the Preschool Promise Grant and 18 of the slots being funded through tuition-based and a little bit of district kick in on that. Looking forward to in the future the potential of expanding our program. We have been approached to add additional slots, but right now we are currently just kind of in a holding pattern until we can figure out what space we will be allowed to use in the future. So next year we will return 72 preschool children. I'm very excited to see about 50 kiddos exit the program this year and head to kindergarten. Our main focus has really been making sure that children are
socially and emotionally ready for kindergarten, so that when they show up in their kindergarten classroom, they are ready to learn with academic skills, but really those problem solving skills. Can I get along with other people, all that good stuff. So Kayla put together a very short little video, and thanks to David for the song. When you listen to this song, you're going to be very, very impressed that David had a hand in it. So enjoy.
Sing it.
I think it's not good.
I know.
Where every child is active, wild and free. Oh, off to school we go, sailing on the waves and the rains, don't you know? It's so together we go.
Jasmine. Hey.
The trash kept the boys in bookstore. Shapes and war. Our teachers guide us on the pirate store. Setting sail for the knowledge Disney shore. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And little part of this school came from boys in bookstore. The boys in bookstore.
And I just want to give a big shout out to the staff that's here every day putting in the work, the teachers and support staff, but also Kayla, who was, hired on as an alt ed administrator and who has done a really great job of also managing the day-to-day problem solving and having a tiny mini school attached, of preschoolers attached to the alt ed program. She's done a great job. And then also, I don't know how many people know this, but Terry comes over on Fridays and does library for our little pirates. And so they get to check out library books. And that's been a really great addition to the program as well. So
Yay.
take it away, Kayla.
Get them early, huh, Terry?
Absolutely.
They're a lot of fun, and it's really cool. We have one young man who needs to spend some time with the high schoolers, planting and in the watershed, and so some of the partnerships have really been helpful in keeping engaged in appropriate behavior. So that's been pretty awesome to do.
That's great.
Okay, so I'm gonna go through this pretty quick. I am going to spend most of the time on destinations, but I'm gonna highlight a little bit about the rest of our alternative programs. Okay, so the first one is our K-8 online. Currently we're serving 43 students between kindergarten and May 3. Our K-5 teachers were opposed. There's 8 coordinators and 5 guest students. Talk about the curriculum there. I will tell you that Laura and Brenda this year have done a phenomenal job of helping build these programs for our kids that need something a little different than traditional school. It also allows for our K-8 students to be involved at school through a hybrid model, which has been super helpful to some of those kids that just, they do really well for half a day at school, and then they get online and they get some additional assistance from Laura Coates, and she has really worked on building deep relationships with our families and really, connecting them with our school. So I'm really proud of that. And all that they've been doing. They're super cute. We art and science on Fridays. We try to have some social time online because being at home, they don't always have that social time. So they get to present all of their art, which is awesome.
Where do they meet for art and stuff?
Online.
Online?
Yeah, we do it all online. Laura has accommodated a few different families in meeting with them here in our back room of our office. We have one young man that comes in weekly, and he's making a ton of progress by doing that. So we're pretty excited about being able to offer that. So Marshfield Online is also something that I oversee. It is a program for Marshfield, but it allows, so we have 64 students in full-time or hybrid classes currently. We serve way more than that. Brenda also is a 912 coordinator. So she's got a pretty big job and she does an amazing job. And we're using this year, we're piloting Edgenuity with teacher guided supports. So that means we're using Edgenuity teachers. So if you go to the next. So at the end of our first semester, this is the overview Edgenuity had given us. And so we had 150 students total, 6 through 12. We had 419 classes that they were taking. Their active time was average of 13 hours. Their progress is pretty substantial. We had 90% average progress with an 87% average grade. So what Edgenuity asked Brenda and I to do is start talking to other schools to talk about what's working, because other schools did not have the as high as scores needed. So it was pretty cool to have that recognition. So 42 kids, Leslie Traylor, Richard Hinkle, and Les Willett run them. Resource Point Board is Sue Wahlberg, John Barkman, and Donna Penny. So this year, the highlights are, they were awarded a $30,000 K-3 literacy grant. So they're getting started on implementation. Pretty amazing. Students are starting to come in a little bit more for their math and their English. This is a kind of introverted group. You know, last year we talked about, you know, they went to the Shakespeare Festival and did all kinds of like field trip type things. This group is still getting to know each other. And so next year we're planning that they will get to do those things. And hopefully they'll want to. And then finished outsiders, working on Friday sample. And then a really cool thing that Richard is piloting is a direct tutoring program called OutSchool. And this program gives his students additional help on work from home. So cool stuff happening there. And then destinations. Currently I have 50 students. This doesn't account for the students that have already graduated this year. I have 3 teachers. Students are primarily doing a self-paced study at this point. We use Edgenuity as well for a lot of our core curriculum. With 3 teachers, you can't really do all of the high-speed curriculum without that kind of support. And so then we also have hands-on electives. Our academic highlights, you know, bonus walk, we have a photography class, we have a food and nutrition class, we have a psychology class here, leadership, what else? Yeah, we move forward to graduation. 2 years ago, we were at 29% graduation rate. This last year, for the class of 2023, we were at 54%. Understand that it's a cohort rate, so any of those students that enrolled in activations at any point in their 4 years and maybe dropped out, end up
on our dropout rate, okay? And that they didn't go to another school or we didn't track them all. So this year, my senior 4-year cohort, I have 17 total enrolled right now. 16 are on track, 1 is at risk of not graduating. So I got on the phone with him today and, maybe he'll get it behind the year. And then 7 students graduating early as 11th graders.
Oh, wow.
So, we're really focusing on how do we, instead of making this a 5-year program, how do we make it the program the kids need to complete in 4 years or less? So, because what we're finding is the kids want to be done. Right? Yes, they have to be done at least 2 years. They want to be done. We have 2 students on the 5-year cohort that are left. I've had 6 at the beginning of the year, 4 of them chose not to continue, which is another reason we need to do 4 years for this. Those 2 students are on track to graduate. So we're pretty excited. Credit data, our freshmen right now, we're predicting or already have students, the 3 students that started with us at the beginning of the year have 6 credits from already. So they are on track. The 3 that joined us last like 2 months, we've got some work to do. Our sophomores, we have 9 or 12 or more credits, and 2 that are not on track right now. We're getting there. One of them just had a baby, so I mean, she'll get there. And then our juniors, 7 or 12 are graduating, and then they're not on track. We have 7, so we still have some work to do. A lot of that has to do with when students are referred to us too, and when they enroll. So a lot of our juniors were referred to us for the start of the semester. So we got work, but we'll get there. I'm optimistic. Honor roll, this is first quarter. Go ahead. Second quarter awards, I don't have the third yet, but they're doing pretty well. Our leadership team, they do all those beautiful decorations you see down our hallway. They are trying to do something for every season. They're supposed to be working on graduation ones right now, so hopefully that's up pretty soon. They made frosty the medicine this year, and then decided that they would make more so that they could do their own, built in the gingerbread houses. And then they did a game day as well. Got lots of activities going on. We're trying to get some theme things going. The boys over there, they're working on an engine, and then we have some other things that we're, it's a small engine, but they're working on some more STEM building. And then we went to the aquarium. I love this picture. This is like my favorite picture ever. But move forward. We're just trying to build a food culture, watershed, and they went out to the AYA to their open house, and just trying to show alternative programs in the area. And so watershed is they've done a lot. If you go on our back patio, they're responsible for everything out there. We're in the middle of building a greenhouse, which I'll talk about in a minute. Their partnership this year has been tremendous. There's a Mayfly Festival down at Lucas. If you guys stop by, there's tomato plants that we've grown. And so the kids have been working on that, and we have a preschooler helping plant those as well. We have a rock counting group. We've got rock tumblers going, and they do all kinds of identification. They love it. We move forward. We just started this. I let my husband go ahead and come up with all of the tools that we needed. I think he loved that. But we're building this greenhouse that Watershed bought And we're putting it out on the back patio. They're also, the next project is putting in fencing. So they're going to put a whole new fence around the garden, which is awesome. Our art kids, they got to go to the art museum and take a class. And Olivia's there with her painting that she got up for the art show. Native Club, which Bree runs for me, she does amazing. You know, they do a lot of community service. They've done the Meals on Wheels. They did cards for the homebound elders at Christmas time. They volunteered over at Madison. They're going back Friday to Madison for the job-a-thon. They work on traditional games. They've looked at documentaries and done research on traditional foods, natural resources. They fish at the Copel Reservation, which is pretty amazing that they were allowed to do that. Just for reference, we're about 25% Native students at Destination. So we really want the culture to shine. And so Bree is doing a great job making sure that happens. And then these are our communities, Watershed Summer Market. So they'll be here during the summer, Madison Job-a-thon, mountain biking. They have a fan dunes trip, Bullard Beach trip, and then our senior trip to Jerry's Jet Boats. And then our graduation is June 5th at 7 p.m. So I hope you all are going to be there. Any questions?
No, that was fantastic.
Yeah. Thank you.
I just want to say that this woman is a unit.
Yeah.
To be able to do all this stuff with all school and both the day-to-day of a free school at the same time and do both well is I'm impressed with a lot of stuff around here, but keep an eye on this.
I know.
Yeah.
It's because I have a really great staff, you guys. They've got a great boss, so that's wonderful. And her husband's a unicorn too.
Yeah.
They're like a unicorn pair. Okay, so long-range facilities plan.
Lisa is online.
Okay. Hello.
Hi, everyone. David, is it easier if I share my screen or if you share yours, I guess? How have we set up?
If you're comfortable doing it, I think sharing from your end so you can click when you're ready is
Perfect.
easy.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Oh, anyone can.
Let's see. It's loading. Can you all see that?
Yes.
Yay. Okay, great. Well, thank you all so much for letting me join you virtually tonight. My name is Elisa Warner. I'm an educational facility planner with Brick Architecture. And I believe we also, in the audience, we have Slack with HPE. Joe, are you there?
I saw him in the parking lot earlier. But I don't see him here.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay, he snuck out the back. Joe, do you want to introduce yourself real quick?
What's that?
Oh, did you want to introduce yourself real quick? I'm sure a lot of people know you, but yeah.
It's kind of like a can in sound. Joe Black, architect with HG Architects here in Tuesday.
Great. Are you having trouble hearing me?
Every once in a while.
You know what, Arnie, if you mute your microphone when you're not talking. Thank you.
Here you go.
Okay. Well, so Joe and I worked together to prepare both the building condition assessments and a long-range facilities plan for the district. So, and I want to go through mostly the process that we went through for this project, and then talk about some of the highlights, specifically the capital improvement plan, which emerged from this process. So we'll move through this pretty quickly. I believe all of you have the full report. So you can look at everything in detail when you are able to. But yeah, just to start, a long-range facilities plan, just to give you kind of a wide overview, the purpose of it is to summarize the district's facilities needs over the next 10 years. And it aligns facilities needs with the district's educational vision and projected enrollment. So this is a requirement of the state of Oregon that school districts prepare and update a long-range facilities plan every 10 years. There are requirements of what needs to be in the plan that are outlined in ORS 195-110. But some of the highlights are listed here. Population projections, a big part of it. We do both building condition assessments and educational adequacy assessments of your buildings, and we'll talk about that in a minute. And then we also even look at things like alternatives to new construction or major renovation, ways that we could meet certain needs even without expensive capital projects. So there's a lot of information in the plan, but the end of the plan outlines a 10 to 20 year plan for tackling capital improvement projects needed throughout the district. So we have been working on this project for about 10 months now. It started mostly in the summer last year with the building condition assessments. We went through a community engagement process. We also went through a committee-based process and some visioning work, and prepared a firm called Flow Analytics performed school enrollment analysis. And we're able to look at the capacity of your facilities versus what the projected enrollment was over the next 10 years. So I'm going to turn over to Joe here for the next couple slides to talk about the building condition assessments.
Quick. I'm gonna sit for a little while longer. So we did like we said, the facility assessment, needs assessment, I'm referred to, and so the district has about 21 buildings, or not about, they do have 21 buildings. It's about 750,000 square feet in your district, about 740,000 square feet, a lot. At Marshfield High School, there's about 129,000 square feet. You have a lot of buildings. The needs assessment that we did maybe 8 or 9 years ago, you got ahead of it from back then, because you played done some major work for your buildings. As you know, over at East Side, new facility, Marshfield Junior High, major building renovation work. And then we've probably done about half the work that's part of the needs assessment in Oklahoma that's going to wrap up assessment later on today or later on this year in time for the school year. So the total this is our report. Fun reading. The total needs assessment adds up to about $88 million right now. There's about 2/3 of that is what we term as immediate need. The biggest one is up at Marshfield High School, the main building. Main building's been on the needs assessment list for a long time. We've done 3 different seismic upgrades on your facilities. One was at the auditorium, which happens to be separated from the main building, but it looked like it's part of the main building. And then we did a seismic upgrade on the main gym, the East Gym, and then with the renovation work at Madison, we did the seismic upgrade on this too. So we kind of keep chipping away at it. Brian's got the book, and he refers to it. He's told me he refers to it periodically. The costs that we have in here are based on contingency, some inflation, not knowing when the funds might be available, and then development costs, permits, fees, and the like. So there's a pretty strong contingency on all these numbers, but it's a tool for this district to use for the next few years. Lisa, you want me to say anything more about all that?
No, I think that's great. I think just, also wanted to emphasize that, of course, 88 million seems like a big number, right? But it is very, very typical for districts in the state for their needs to outweigh their resources. And, following all the projects that you did under your 2017 bond, overall the district is in much better shape than a lot of districts.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, go ahead.
Okay, so kind of a companion piece to the building condition assessments is the educational adequacy assessments. So what that involves is looking at how your school facilities are working for you from a teaching and learning standpoint. So this involves conversations or interviews with each of your school principals, and then a walkthrough of each facility, noting things like general classroom conditions, how technology is integrated, how, if there are spaces available to support STEAM activities or project-based learning. Look at also your special education program resources and adequacy of core areas. So, for example, are your gyms large enough? Your commons or cafeterias, are they large enough? And then also safety and security is noted throughout the building and the site. So that's something that we did for each of your school facilities, and those needs are documented alongside the building condition assessment needs. Okay, so enrollment capacity. So as I mentioned earlier, Flow Analytics performed 10-year enrollment projections for the district. I'm going to go through this pretty quickly. And I don't know, has Flow presented the results to the board already? Has that happened or?
No.
Okay, so yeah, this might be new information then, and you probably reviewed it in the plan. But I want to start by saying there's a trend that's been noted, and enrollment is declining, projected to decline in the district. Now we're seeing this in many districts throughout the state and even beyond. Birth rates are declining right now. And so we're starting to see this in our schools for younger, the smaller cohorts that are coming in now. And also many districts in the state, their enrollment declined during the COVID years, particularly the year where schools were closed. And some of that, we expected when schools reopened that all of those students would return. Not all have. So we still have in many districts, we haven't quite recovered from the loss of some of those students. So you can see here, these are the 10-year enrollment projections that Flow Analytics prepared for the district. Now they usually do like a low, middle, and high scenario, with different variables. So the green one in the middle here, that's your middle scenario. And that's the one that we usually go by. You can see here, it's broken down by grade level. So you have your elementary schools and middle high, and then high school programs here at the bottom. But they're projecting that you will go from around 3,041 students during this school year to about 2,733 by 2033-34. So now one thing that we did, I don't have a slide on this, but we looked at the capacity of all of your school facilities to also weigh that against what is projected at each of those schools. And right now, you're fortunate to have a lot of schools with a lot of excess capacity. Actually, there's a lot of room in some of those schools, and that gives us some ability to perhaps like repurpose spaces in the future. And so that's a nice thing to have, a nice resource. The exception is Marshfield Junior High School. It is currently at 100% capacity, and if you look at the numbers here. It's going to get worse before it gets better, unfortunately. It looks like a bit worse. So we're at 413 here at Marshfield Junior High School. And if you look over, it's going to peak around 2027, 28, adding another 30 or so students. But then it's going to start to go down. So it will get worse before it gets better. But once we look 10 years out, it's actually the enrollment decline will help conditions there. So that's something to note. Any questions? There's a lot on here, so I want to pause and see if anyone has any questions.
We can not really read it, so
Yeah.
I would say that.
Can everybody else see it?
No,
Oh, okay.
So we'll have,
we're just listening to you.
we'll have to clear the data in a later one, I guess, that's what I was saying.
No, I apologize. If there's anything, I don't know if I can, I'm not quite sure if I can do
Oh, it's
anything.
okay, just tell us.
Yeah, there's no way given the screen size.
No,
Okay.
it's all right.
And we all got a copy of this.
Yeah, we viewed it before we came, but
Okay. Great. Okay. So what does this mean for our capital improvement planning? Something to note, the enrollment decline is projected to be more pronounced on the east side versus the west side. So with east side and Millicoma, the decline is projected to be a little more severe than with Madison and Sunset. As I mentioned before, overcrowding concerns are pretty much limited to Marshfield Junior High. The other schools have enough capacity for your current and projected enrollment over the next 10 years. And some schools, like Sunset, for example, has ample capacity. You've got a lot of extra space there. And, you know, both Millicoma and Sunset, of course, were designed as junior high schools originally. So, so they have a lot of resources that typically wouldn't be in an elementary school, which is something that's valuable. And some of the potential projects, like I mentioned, if we were to repurpose some of your existing spaces that are underutilized, that would give us some opportunity without impacting overcrowding because there is extra space. So for example, at Sunset and actually at Millicoma, you have banks of lockers, right, that are not used currently, that in the future, should they be removed, you know, you could do some cool things there, like create some extended learning areas or a maker area, or you know, have other spaces for students to utilize outside of their classrooms. So that's an important thing to note moving forward. Okay. So I'm just briefly going to show this within the plan that you all have. We have these school profiles, and this is just a little excerpt. This is on Sunset. So for each of those, you can look at this in more detail. But you know, we provide an overview of the capacity of the building and a color-coded floor plan showing you how every space is being used currently. And then we have sort of an overall description of the needs associated with the schools. So that is in your plan. Okay, now I just want to talk a little bit about our engagement and our efforts to put this plan together. So the reason we start with going through all that information that I just talked about is that that's all the stuff that we do leading up to the community engagement and the committee work, because we want to have that stuff in hand, right? Especially when we start our committee process, because a lot of the committee work involves sharing that information to form a foundation so they can do their work and prioritizing the projects. So that's why we do it in this order. But we conducted a series of listening and learning dialogue sessions. We organized them by school type. So we had early elementary session, upper elementary session, junior high, and high school. We conducted these in December. It was in early December. For each of the meetings they were hybrid. So we had an online option, and people could also attend in person. And the purpose was to have kind of just higher level conversations about what your community members think about your school facilities and what kinds of experiences they would like schools to provide their children. And so we had, unfortunately, low attendance on some of these, but we still had some good conversations. And this information, the information from these sessions, is summarized in the report. And it was also shared with the committee that I'm going to talk about here shortly. Okay, so the Long Range Facilities Planning Committee, following a lot of this work in December, we formed a Long Range Facilities Planning Committee. And we had a couple board members. We had Addie and Kevin who joined us on this journey. And so would welcome them to interject anytime they want to add anything. But we had 4 meetings that were scheduled. There they are, that were scheduled from November 30th through February 15th. And we spent a lot of time covering the information that I just kind of went through with all of you, and then spent the last couple sessions trying to develop a capital improvement plan for the district. So at the beginning of the committee-based process, we worked on a set of North Stars. The North Stars serve as a foundation for capital improvement planning. There are a series of vision statements about what should be centered in some of these decision-making conversations, like what is most important, what are the guiding forces for the work of the committee. And so these were the themes that were captured for the North Stars for our facilities planning. So just to go through these quickly, we envision schools as vibrant community hubs, connections to local families, businesses, organizations, and providing space and resources, and expanded hours to meet community needs. We aspire to provide school buildings and sites that are welcoming, inclusive, and accessible to students of all abilities and backgrounds. This was super important. You'll see later when we go through the capital improvement projects, this was really centered. We recognize the importance of ensuring our school infrastructure can continually adapt to ensure students are well prepared for the evolving demands of the future. We embrace the outdoors as a learning resource by providing inviting and functional environments for students and community. We provide learning spaces with flexible and adaptable design features and furnishings to accommodate a range of activities and group sizes, as well as to support changing enrollment and educational needs. We recognize the importance of providing school environments that support the safety, comfort, belonging, physical health, and social emotional well-being of students and staff. And lastly, expand and diversify career technical education opportunities, emphasizing integration of academic and real-world learning and strong community partnerships. So these 7 statements were the North Stars of the committee for this process. So with that as our foundation, one of the other tasks of the committee was to develop a list of prioritization criteria for looking at capital improvement projects. And some of the ones that stood out for this committee, infrastructure and maintenance, ensuring the longevity of facilities, improved learning environments. So those improvements that would directly impact the quality of education, equity and inclusion, and that's for equitable access to educational resources and opportunities for all students, functional outdoor environments, community connectivity, safety and security, capacity enrollment, and future-ready spaces. Okay. So then the committee went about developing a capital improvement plan. Now, what we often do with capital improvement plans is we organize all the facility needs into tiers, and the tiers reflect when the district aspires to complete those projects. Now, Coos Bay is in a unique situation, having recently passed a bond in 2017 and completed a lot of work. It was said that the district does not plan to go out for another bond within the next 10 years. Having that information in hand, it was important to the committee that we develop something that would be realistic and implementable, given the budgetary parameters in these timeframes. So what was decided is that each 5-year period, it was felt that the district could have potentially $5 million to be able to attack some of these capital improvement projects and start taking care of them. So it was a very difficult task. We broke up into groups, and there was a lot of discussion about which projects should be put first, right, in tier 1 over the next 5 years, and tier 2 the next 6 to 10 years. Anything that was lower priority or expensive, so expensive that it would require bond funding, was automatically bumped to tier 3, which would be 10 plus years. In most of those cases, it was recognizing that it would probably require a bond to do it. So this is the way that the projects ended up shaking out after this process. So the tier 1 projects, roof replacement and replacement of damaged ceiling tiles at Sunset School, life skills classroom upgrades at Marshfield High School to include adjacent ADA restroom, learning kitchen, and washer dryer. Right now they're in a general classroom. Integrate life skills classroom into the main building at Sunset. It's in a modular currently, and then renovate existing spaces needed. Exterior paving upgrades, ADA parking, and accessible routes upgrades at Sunset, Eastside, Marshfield High School, and Milner Crest. Purchase a new modular building for the MHS radio station CTE program. and restroom upgrades at MHS, including gender neutral options, and address the most crucial restroom needs in the main building. So these projects total approximately 5 million. And the intent was to try to tackle these projects over the next 5 years. And and you can see here, a lot of the themes that I summarized earlier are reflected in the projects before you. So you can kind of see how that decision-making occurred. So tier 2, 6 to 10 years. Again, this would be in another 5 million. We have repurpose and renovate existing space into an updated culinary arts CTE classroom at MHS. Additional restroom upgrades beyond these, because there were significant restroom upgrades needed, and so it was decided we'll break them up into two tiers. So the rest of the restrooms would be upgraded at MHS. Repurpose and renovate existing space to provide a new early childhood CTE program at MHS. New accessible playground equipment at Madison and replacement of old exterior basketball hoops. Accessible playground surfacing at all elementary schools. Exterior siding and insulation system repairs at Sunset and MHS. Roofing repairs, replacements at MHS and Milner Crest. Exterior fencing extension at Millicoma for security purposes. And bleacher replacements and gym flooring replacements at Millicoma. So these are the top projects that made our tier 1 and tier 2 lists. Any questions on this?
Nope.
Okay. So tier 3, I won't go through all these projects. You have this in the report, but again, these are projects that would likely require bond funding and will be longer term projects. And then just wanted to summarize a few things that, were talked about as maybe big projects, right, to do under a future bond. And some of these, Joe, referred to like the work that really needs to occur at MHS. It's really due for a major renovation. So that was something that was mentioned. Same thing with Sunset. That would be another building that would be due for a major renovation down the line. There was talk about excitement around the idea of a new CTE center. Like that could be something that the district could do in the future, 10 plus years from now. Also, we all know that, that Little Pirates and Destinations Academy, the Milner Crest placement isn't ideal. It wasn't designed for that purpose. So construction of a new facility or a substantial renovation of an existing facility to serve Little Pirates and Destinations. So those were projects that were on the horizon for the next bond.
Next decade.
And that's it. Any questions, any comments? I don't know, Addie or Kevin also, if you would like to share anything.
No, it was a wonderful process that involved everyone that participated. I mean, you heard voices from everyone. No one sat quiet during the discussion of which projects to pick. And while the final choice of tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 projects didn't satisfy everyone, there were people who wanted things in different tiers and handled at different times. I think this was a good resolution overall of what we need now and what we need, going forward.
Yeah.
But the idea of a separate CTE center is so attractive because it just opens space up for other things. If you ever wanted to have an early childhood education program that was attached to the high school, you'd have room because all of those other programs would have moved.
We need that center.
Yeah.
Teen parents and.
Yeah.
I ask so it sounds like projected enrollments in 10 years are about maybe 300 or so less. So, which is substantial and not substantial at the same time, right? I mean, it's operating, it makes a difference, but in terms of space, spread out over grade levels, it's not huge either. But I didn't know if there's any ideas about how education may be evolving and changing. I mean, we've been very facility based, And then, we're like, we've got our facilities, but I mean, is education, as we know, getting less facility based,
Yeah,
so.
we talked about that in the committee meetings. We talked about the future of education and making sure that classrooms and spaces that we develop, even if we're just retrofitting them at this point, can go forward in a technological world.
We don't need so many brick and mortar
Ex-
buildings.
Right,
Yeah,
well, and the ones that we have need to be easily flexible for hybrid sort of situations.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, I mean, I think in general, we will have less classes that occur within a building.
I do too.
And it's not just technology versus building.
Yeah,
Educational models 50 years overdue. That here is 6%. Your schools will vote it.
Yeah.
The idea of marching kids around groups of 25 to a bell based on that works really well getting ready to get it sort of 18. Doesn't really work. So, yeah, that's your
Yeah.
model will eventually and hopefully change. Well, we see that at the higher education levels, right? That really has shifted dramatically. It's already occurred just to a large degree. It just hasn't really. Well, yeah. And there's. Well, what I'm basically talking about is focusing on the learning rather than seeking. And you start changing that. It's not just the location. So how you actually.
Yeah.
So, Alyssa, who, did your firm do the 10-year assessment back a decade ago? And then how spot on are we with what we were supposed to be numbers wise, if you guys have that information?
Yeah, we actually worked on, with the firm at Evolve, but yeah, we could work together on it back then, and like I mentioned earlier, the list has shrunk
Mm-hmm.
in your favor for the district, just because the buildings have been replaced.
Right, and we didn't
And we took
anticipate
buildings off
almost 10 years
the
ago.
hybrids, and there's still you still have buildings that are, still have needs that weren't addressed.
Right.
Most notably is Marshall, the main building. This building has a roof that's great, okay, but it's 25 years old, so it's kind of on a flat thread, if you will.
Yeah.
Don't look up. Same with school that you're not in right now, Upper Hill.
Oh,
Yeah, that roof is about the same vintage. We still have ADA issues in your buildings. Marshall High School is an example. Marshall High School just has a lot of issues because it's, building ditches. And mechanically, electrically.
oh my goodness, yeah.
The building envelope, the windows are single pane,
Yeah.
battery glazed windows. Electrical is subpar, and so all those things, if you could chip away on them, that would be great. Sunset building with its roof, maybe you can tackle half of it, at a time would be really good, because,
So do you remember what you anticipated our enrollment at 10 years ago?
I think it was flat back. Do you remember, Alisa?
No, I don't know. I could look up I'm not sure if the flow report had the prior set of projections.
It was declining, but it wasn't like this big.
Yeah.
There was back then, remember the LNC? thing?
Yeah.
So there was a lot of anticipation of what was gonna happen and we're gonna need to.
yeah, we're gonna break positive.
Do more, all that.
I guess that is something though, I mean, so if something happened to come in and change the role significantly. I mean, but it sounds like we have this space, we just might have to figure out how to access some of
It
it.
scares me to lose, possibly. Such a premier location with school. You know, it's occupied somewhat. Well, that's the building, that's a great site, central town.
It served as a good, option in our all the movies.
Yeah,
Yeah, done otherwise.
it scared me, I would hate to see you lose that building.
Yes.
All right, any other questions? Thank you
No,
both.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
So it's a lot of work.
Thank you so much. It was really wonderful working with your community on this. It was a wonderful project, and people were really active, like Abby said, in the discussions. And yeah, I just really appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Like you said, the side note, the seismic rehabilitation grant program, $2.5 million for one facility goes a long way. And so if we keep rattling away on it, that's a big deal.
That is.
And you can take care of the hills of roofing and what have you, underneath that. But really tight, can't go beyond that, but they're pretty tight on what, but as long as it's part of the seismic upgrade, we've done any of it. Good thing.
That's great. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you all. Have a good evening.
You too. All right, now exciting, Marina, business office. Hi, enrollment is down. Ta-da, we're doing 30 from last month. I don't know the reasoning for that. That has not historically been consistent. April and May, we've lost maybe a handful of students. This was significant. 18 of them were at high school. So I'll be touching base with Eli, seeing if we can figure out what that is. Otherwise, the other large change is 7 students down. I don't see a reason for it, but historically the trend is not to lose 30 students in one month at the end of the year. I'll be doing some update and research on that. Hope to have some more information for you guys by next month. We are currently at May of 2021 numbers for enrollment. May of 2021, right, high COVID, we were down to 2987, so we're about down there. I hope we pick up some more of those students at the last hurrah of the school year. General fund is looking great. We are on trend to stay in all of our allocations. We are on trend to receive additional state school fund dollars. We received $382,000 for the high cost disability grant from 21-22. Things are looking at revenue wise based on the increase in state school fund, and we are spending well below our allocations. You'll notice on support services, we're down by 1.8 million. We're going to anticipate spending below that. A side note to that is that this month I bought all 4 quarters of the ESD's bills for our tier 2 services. So you'll see a rather large influx of expenses when you see May's, because that's usually about a $1.6 million bill. But we'll still be within our allocation. And we have not touched any of our contingencies at this point. We are just anticipating, hopefully, closing out the rest of the school year with not any large expenses before June. Special revenue, thank you. Special revenue funds are we're getting really close to the end of our bucket. We have like $3.5 million left to claim, which sounds like a ton of money, but when we had about $9 million to start the school year, that's really great. They're doing a lot of work on the HVAC project, and it's looking really, really good in Oklahoma. We are not at the current time over any allocations, and we are not trended to be by the end of the school year. So we're looking great in special revenue funds. Also have not touched that $5 million contingency, so great. Let's keep that down the road. Debt service, nothing happening in this fund until June. June 15th, June 1st, we have rather large bills, but they are all allocated for the most of that June. And then capital projects, you will see a
transfer or an appropriation transfer resolution in June, just to move some money. Because while we are not projected to be over budget by 2.8 million in the enterprise or the facilities acquisition, we are going to be a little bit over budget just because the way the bond fund worked out. We paid some more bond fund expenses this year than we anticipated because we didn't spend them last year. So all I will be doing is readjusting some of the contingency allocation, assuming there's a group resolution, and moving that to this forecast. Other than that, things are looking great. We are doing well, minus the 30 students that I lost along the track.
And our 1 to 5 year plan of the extra 5 million.
So what that is we typically transfer about $1 million to the capital projects fund, and I just assume that we will be building that into the budget at just flat 1 million, not increasing that transfer over the years, but knowing that we set aside a certain portion to build those large projects out over the next 5 years. We talked about potentially doing the 1 million transfer and not actually doing the project in the first year and building up enough reserves where we can do, multiple chunks of the Marshfield bathrooms at once because we'll get a better cost if we do more than a $250,000.
What about the roof?
For Sunset. So that is a hot topic currently. Because we are working with an engineering firm. We're working with an engineering firm to do a TAP seismic assessment grant for Sunset and for Blossom. And we are hoping that with that, we will get an assessment that says, yes, Sunset needs some seismic update. We'll get a state grant and then potentially we get a new roof as part of that $4 million grant. That is our current plan and current hope that we're working on. So yes, typically you were saying something about plywood. That's all I know. You're saying something about plywood being good for what?
Well, generally speaking, we try to build shear strength in a building. One of the first things that most engineers come up with, putting, heavy plywood on the roof. So it includes stripping things out and putting plywood on to add shear strength to the building, and then in the process, you end up. So, but the debate is, it's leaking now, right? And if everything went perfectly, you would be a year out.
That's my question.
Yeah.
The 1 year cycle, so they're just starting to announce. Like,
The awards, right?
we put in 2 applications last year.
Goes in November and
They were due the second week in January.
they didn't get them out. So, yeah, so you're
They
basically,
expected for just today, matter of fact, one was successful. I remember.
yeah, so in that case, trying, if you're just finding out in May, doing construction that summer is almost impossible. You're gonna have to plan. So 2 year cycle close unless, now, from the engineering standpoint, Brian did do some things for me at Central Lynn. He had most of the engineering done. Hoping he made some. And there was one project he asked us. Actually, with it. So. But we were right in the middle of that.
That's one of those things where maybe we do the $1 million transfer in the first year, we build up that project fund. So, we schedule it for July 1, hoping that we get that grant. And if we don't get that grant, well, then we still have the remaining capital project fund in order to do the portion that we need to do. So that way we can get scheduled, get moving along.
It's gonna last that long?
Which building?
Sunset.
Yeah.
That makes me worried.
I know, this is the guy that had to put up with the call, right, so, I don't know if he can last that long.
We'll work on trying to keep it from leaking.
I'm not really sure we can get on books any sooner for that side of the project anyway, before next summer. Because nobody wants to do that in the rain either.
Do we need to buy bigger buckets?
Bigger and maybe more.
Gotta get a bigger boat.
Well, hopefully we'll get some leaks.
That's one of the rather contentious tier 1, tier 2, long range facilities planning,
Yeah.
discussions. There were some discussions, do we put more money into CTE or do we put more money into a sunset roof? And I might have gone on a soapbox and I might have had to apologize to people saying, if kids can't learn at sunset, then they can't do a CTE program.
Exactly.
When they get to the
They have to have.
So,
Yeah.
that is tier.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you for that. Okay, so is there anything else, Myrna?
No, not unless you have any questions for me.
No, not till Wednesday.
Oh, great.
All right,
Well prepared.
Brian. you can do something.
Okay, it's already 8:06, so I'm gonna be very quick, but, first of all, I'm like super excited to sit here and look at, Kayla and Carly, seeing the future of leadership around here. Excited.
Yeah.
Justin here and there, we're trying to. I'm excited for you because the more that we talk. I definitely get excited. And so. You know, if you're willing to do the work, that's exciting. I want to give a shout out to Lisa. You know, she's got 25 days left before she retires. She's been working her butt off around here, make sure that she can tighten things up and get it done before she's gone. And that's the sign of a true professional. Also, I see Loma is on the screen, and I want to congratulate him in his new position working with Brian. And I'm real excited for the facilities. I think it's going to be a big help and it just brings structure to some of the things that, you know, Brian's been needing some help for a while. Yeah. But it's exciting.
How you doing, Greg?
And you know, I'd like to be at the June meeting, so this is my last meeting with you. And, I just wanted to say that I'm excited about Coos Bay's for the future. I wouldn't worry too much about 300, 300 kids over 10 years if it happens. You know, Reggie Jackson, when the first time he had to face down kid named Floyd throw 104 mile fastball, they said, you know, how do you feel about that? He says, you know, I can type a 747 if I know it comes. You know, it's 10% fluctuation over 10 years. That's totally manageable. You don't stress. Just build a great educational system that you build it. You got a good staff here who loves the folks at the district office. People, hopefully we can get some, well, I know it's going to be a little bit of reorganization so people have time. You know, even the stuff that we talked about earlier today was things happen when you have so many urgent things to do that you don't get to do some of the important things. Hopefully, we'll talk about it in a little bit on Wednesday night. Sometimes you have to make some investments so your leadership has time to do it. So we're recommending some additional support. But anyway, I just wanted to say thank you guys very much for the opportunity to serve. I really appreciate it. And no bright future.
Thank you, Brian. It's very kind. You don't have a cake.
Yeah.
Right before something. You don't get a cake when you're like a 6 month loan. Right?
Yeah. Cupcakes, you get a cupcake.
I got, I'll be honest with you, last month, I got a compliment from, Artie Groveland, and I went home and called my girlfriend, so I could quit. I can retire if I ever had any doubts, it could be useful or helpful to anybody. I just got validation from a man that I have respected for 20 years. I'm good. So that's better. So thank you.
I'm waiting for my compliment, Arnie.
You're muted, Arnie.
You're getting there now, Kara. Another 5 or 6 years, you'll probably be there.
Don't blow it.
Just don't blow it. Okay. All right, so policy committee updates, David.
All right. So I will be completely honest with you. When I selected this green on Google Docs, it was much easier to read. I apologize. We'll choose a different color moving forward. Anything that is in green, that's something that the policy committee elected to keep or add. The gray highlights, that's where the USDA made a change. And most of those changes are tracked items. And then the strike through is where we're taking things out. So the first policy, we're gonna have hefty ones like this for the foreseeable future. So be prepared. When we hammer them out, the first policy is IC non-discrimination. These are all required policies. We'll work with the required first. So just some minor verbiage change on this one. There's an addition of a footnote around Native American mascots and the discriminatory use of that. And then a change added ORS, the removal of some house bills, but minor changes there. Policy CBG is evaluation of the superintendent. Anything that has I don't know, the braces is a little, anyway, the brackets with the little point on. Anything in that is just for your information. It'll be removed from the final policy. And this was really, really simple change. We just took out administrative and superintendents.
That's
hard. They were only all that easy. Next one is CCG, which is licensed evaluation of administrators. They changed a few words in here from administrative personnel to administrators.
And you're not making an evaluation, now you're conducting.
Yeah, you're conducting. And then they add this section here on what the evaluation using the administrative standards must attempt to do. They just spelled that out. And we made a minor change in item 4 because it didn't make sense the way it was written. So we fixed that.
Appreciate that.
You can tell we really read these things, we're changing one word.
Is to delete EBDAAR first aid infection. There is a new policy that kind of belongs together a few different policies, but they're trying to consolidate, understanding that 1,500 policies is too many for anyone. So trying to get that down to sub 1,000 would be nice. So we're going to delete that one. We're also going to delete the one GBEPA, staff HIV/AIDS and HPV. Then they're going to have this new policy. So back up.
Short one though,
yeah.
Too bad.
Policy EBCA around safety threats, which is a required policy and comes out of ORS 339.324. That one we left unchanged. On to policy GBN/JBA, sexual harassment. They added a few different footnotes just to add clarity to this one. And in some of these, it gets a little, the footnotes particularly, whoever did it, I don't know, last time time and the time before that, there's all these different methods that don't line up. So if you see the same one deleted and then added again, it was just so I could get the numbers to actually be in order. So that's what that is. Let's see. We added this section, in green here that, lists some examples of sexual harassment. They added what without consent means. Key footnotes that would be deleted. And sooner or later I'll get to the end of this one. Oh, we added one small section that ODE will provide technical assistance and training upon request. And lots of footnotes. Yeah, and then just some minor things. Next one. TBNAB/JFE, suspected use of the child reporting requirements. They tried to make this policy a little more clear and eliminate barriers by not saying you have to orally report or cause an oral report by telephone or otherwise. It just says you have to make a report to the Oregon Department of Human Services. It's not going to specify how to. We did change this on our own volition for the footnotes. They had a number to call DHS. We removed that because numbers change. And anyone who's going to be calling from their smartphone can look up DHS and their number right there. So we just put contact DHS instead of contact DHS at this number. So we don't have to monitor that every time they change their number. That was really the only change there. Then the associated AR, the NAB JFE-AR1. We made that same change, and they made the same changes to reporting procedures. We elected to go with the appeal process as noted or as provided in the applicable collective bargaining agreement rather than mutual party. We already follow that. Thank you. And I think that was it. Yeah, one of those. Any questions?
Great, thank you. Member highlights. I know that you went to that one thing.
I went to the CBA thing. I went to a site committee meeting at the high school, the last one of the year.
And we all went to the tea.
We all went to the tea.
The piano player was really good.
Yeah, but cut his own hair this week.
Uh-oh.
Christy.
He's got a lot of it, he'll be all right.
It's just hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Arnie was there at tea as well.
Yeah.
Are there any others?
The CBA thing was very nice. I do have to say, the little write-ups when they gave the awards to the people for going the extra mile, it was really nice to hear them. And when the last woman she was speaking with, who is the counselor at Sunset, I believe, got nominated twice.
Oh, yeah.
And she had been helping put the thing on, and I don't think she realized that she was going to get that. So it was very nice.
That's really nice. Anything else? Arnie, I saw your microphone's off.
Yeah, I was just going to say, our scholarship committee has been meeting regularly, and we are in the process of getting ready for awards ceremony at the high school. I think there's over $400,000 in scholarships to 62 kids and 168 different scholarships that are being given out. It's pretty amazing what's happened in the last 20 years with respect to how much money is available. And there's another over $100,000 for vocational students. So I'm very pleased with what we got. That was good, a lot of work, but it was really good to have done.
Yeah, thank you, Arnie.
And there's a great group of local citizens who are on that committee who come together every year and get all these pieces of information from every student and try to figure out which scholarships should go to which kids for which reasons. And it's a pretty intense time.
Well worth it though.
And very appreciated.
Mhm. And I would just like to say personally, as many of you know, my daughter was missing for over a month. Bailey Campo, you might have saw it out there. So it's taken up most of my life. So that has consumed me, but she was found. Thank you to the community and the police departments and a lot of friends and family out there. So that's what I've been doing for the last over a month. I've been working with that and trying to deal with that every day. So, and my first good night sleep last night, and she was found alive. So that was good. All right, so we're almost through here. Let's go to, we need to vote on our 2024-25 school year interdistrict transfer numbers, and they're in our packet. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Addie.
I'll second.
Thank you, David. Any discussion?
I remember when we did these in the past, we didn't have specific numbers. We put essentially limits on for the high school, the students in core classes, and for the elementary schools, transfers would be approved until classes reached a certain number.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just if there's a reason for doing that differently, or
that's the way I always know. Quite frankly, the way I read the law was that you have to say how many you allow in. And so we got to the same place backwards. You know, we looked at the union contract and looked at the recommended ones based on the number of students. And if you want us to go back and change it and do it the other way.
okay, and just making sure that it's based on the same numbers. And I'm okay with that. We can always, I mean, we have the option to change those. Yeah, if they become an issue.
Yeah, I mean, if we got it same, if we just went about it this different way, we could get to the same point. I guess I'm okay with that as well. But so, well, it also helps us understand where. And I guess I can see where that way is more flexible. We would still have to figure it out the other way. The person that's handling the IDPs doesn't know what. Right? So I kind of get them. It says, you know, keep track of this. When you get caught, let me know. And you can always come back and do a modification, or, you know, to be honest, do the real practice. So you have room for them. If they say no, these become guidelines. This was the way to actually institute a system, because you guys have done it, then nobody's keeping track. Nobody's keeping, you know, not because they don't do the job, it's there would be 3 phone calls to make in order to get that signed or not signed. Usually something happens. You know, so it's just easier to hand the records clerk a number and say, you know, when we hit 5, let me know. And you would assess the situation. You know, when you say we're gonna cap it, this number at the school, what are you doing? Are you redoing a resurvey every time you get into the transfer? That's what I'm trying.
This is how I,
No.
with specific schools.
Oh, other schools.
At other boards, I have seen them presented like this so that you have specific numbers. So that the person who is fielding the calls can say, well, no, look, we don't have any room in the 5th grade at Sunset to bring anyone up.
And no, that definitely makes sense from a,
Yeah.
you know, the systems view, it makes it a lot easier on several people.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second, any other discussion? All right, let's go for a vote, Arnie,
Aye.
Patty,
Aye.
David,
Aye.
I vote aye, and motion carries. Now let's go to vote for unpaid leave of absence, and we have a request from classified staff in your packet. We have a motion.
I move we approve the unpaid leave request of Alicia Maggio for the 2024-25 school year so that she can get her master's in speech and language.
We so need.
Yeah, we need it.
That is amazing, thank you so much. So,
This doesn't have any requirement that she come back.
You can't do that.
I know.
It'd be nice, we've lost a couple.
I know.
A little stipulation, we'll stipulate.
Yeah, we'll approve it if you come back.
Enforceable anyway.
I know.
Everything else.
Thank you so much. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
I just have a question I have, so when we do this, I asked before. How does the district have to deal with this in a practical way, right? And so, because basically we're saying, oh, you pay us and we will hire you back, but we need to fill people's positions, so how does that work?
They're not guaranteed they're staying this, right? We're saying that we will guarantee you a job, any job that you're qualified, the district has.
Do they maintain a seniority, a bumping right because of us approving, is it, so does that allow them to do that? And they,
Okay, I've gone through your contract with Flying Zoo.
Yes, it does.
It maintains your seniority, but you don't gain in most contracts, you don't gain a year for the years.
Right.
So you
Right. They
maintain.
maintain current position but not gain seniority.
Yeah.
Cause I guess that was another one I was questioning, so if we fill this position, which I assume we had to do, and then they come back, then they could potentially bump the person that got hired in that position to replace them, potentially. But I mean, I just trying to think those scenarios out, my job that happens.
I think you're seeing practical.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Theoretically, you're correct, but when you have 10 employees, and you have turnover, that good people are always needed.
I appreciate that.
Plus, they'll come back with a speech and language, but
This is different because if this happens,
Yeah.
that person's gonna not want their job.
they're gonna want, you're right.
And I believe she was actually on the already for this school year, but we need her, she came back at a time. So she is very loyal and effective.
Yeah.
So I appreciate the discussion. It came in my mind last time and I didn't ask it, so I thought I'd ask it this time, so.
Questions?
Just for
Any other-
clarification, she wouldn't get bumping rights over somebody that we recently hired. That would only happen if there was a reduction in force after they both came back. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right.
Arnie's talking. You're muted, Arnie.
If there were some openings, she would have bumping rights to those new positions, but not her old position.
Correct.
All right, let's go for a vote. Arnie, you're up.
Aye.
David,
Aye.
Patty,
Aye.
Adrian,
Aye.
aye, motion carried. And consider the correspondence with the Coos Community Center regarding their recent proposal. And that is in this packet somewhere, right? No?
No.
No,
We're-
Kevin's not here today, but, we did discuss this at the facilities committee
You
meeting.
got it for me?
I don't have it.
Oh, that's the one thing I requested.
I know. I have requests coming out of left field.
I know, I'm so sorry. No, it's okay.
But I can cover basically the correspondence, yeah. I have,
I know that, we are,
Our committee recommended that we do not go forward with pursuing a sale of property, or
For Blossom.
for Blossom
for
Gulch.
Blossom Gulch.
And I think didn't they want it, just not even to buy it, but for us to give it to them for the
Yeah.
community center, so it's not.
in exchange for unspecified improvements to the
Right.
district.
And there was a lot of reasons that David and, the board agreed on, I believe, that there's reasons that.
There were, some of those are, first and foremost, Blossom Gulch served as a crucial hub for the district's entire fiber optics network. Relinquishing this property would be detrimental to the daily functions of the district and could disrupt central services and communication channels. Additionally, we are to proceed without full knowledge of the recent long-range facilities plan, which may have implications for the use and allocation of district properties. Furthermore, with the recent onboarding of a new superintendent, there is a possibility that new ideas and priorities for the Blossom Gulch property may emerge in the future. Moreover, Blossom Gulch has played an invaluable role as a swing school within our district, providing essential flexibility and support for various educational initiatives and programs. So those are the main reasons.
That's beautiful. Now, is this an action item? Do we
No,
need-
there's no.
All right, so that's where we're at, that,
Well, they came to you and asked me, and it wasn't like a real tight proposal, but I think the board owes them an answer. So
right,
we
So
wrote this letter, but it should come from the board. So, do you want Kim to send that?
Yes,
Or do you
I
want me to send it or whatever you want to say?
I move, we authorize Kim to send a letter to the party interested in receiving Blossom Gulch School and communicating to them
the following reasons that.
the following reasons why we're not interested in proceeding.
Beautiful. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Adrian. Any other discussion?
I guess I would like to read the letter before we send it.
That's not allowed.
I think this is the issues behind it are complex.
Yeah.
And so I'd like to understand what we're saying.
Yes.
I understand the district sees this, and I agree, it has value. So we need to be purposeful in how we look at this as an asset to the district. There are also potential liabilities with this asset that also we have to consider, because it's gonna need a roof, it's gonna need repairs, and if we own it, it's ours, so.
You gotta dig it out.
I'm just concerned that they want to move really quickly. And if it's our hub for fiber optics, that's not something we can move really quick.
I get the timeframe
Yeah.
that they may have, and it may not match up.
I feel also uncomfortable moving ahead when you haven't read it.
Mhm.
Okay, because he read the core of the reasons in the letter, but not the whole letter, and the whole letter has a different tone. And it's much more respectful,
It's really nice.
and I think that, to table this until next month and give you guys, not only the time to read it, but to, provide feedback. If you wanted to say something else, you wanna
So,
leave.
It's out there in public though right now, so so they know that we're,
I'm willing.
Right, yeah.
I mean, it's public meeting, we're saying it now that we're not moving forward. To wait another month before we send
Yeah,
it
you
back.
better allow it to read the whole letter. You want to hear?
I would rather have you do that or print it off and give them a copy, whichever would they prefer.
Well, I appreciate, what my recollection of the last meeting was that facility committee to make a recommendation. And I think what I feel missing is the board has not had a full discussion on this outside of the committee itself. And so I think it's more proper for us to have a discussion around this since the committee has weighed in, rather than jump to a response. That's my take on this. And so I would prefer to allow the time to do that, and I would feel more comfortable signing onto a letter that I felt I had heard discussed.
We won't have that discussion now.
Well, not without the letter in front of us.
Well, you know,
Might we be, is there any, does it look like there's going to be any need for us to have a special meeting in 2 weeks?
I hope not.
I do think too, though, I mean, we can respect our timeframes and not theirs. And if our timeframes don't exactly match up, that's not our responsibility.
Yep.
You know, we follow our process. And so I'm fine at the next board meeting and putting that on the agenda item to have a formal report from the committee that have a discussion and then can create an action item. That seems to me to make the most sense.
Did they have a timeline of when they wanted us to get back to them by? Okay. Okay. All right, so then we take that all back. We may or may not be going forward with the sale of Blossom Gulch. So that needs to be out there.
I mean, there's a motion and a second.
The donation.
So, you know,
I'll withdraw my motion.
Yep, we need to withdraw a motion.
You want to withdraw your second?
I'll agree to that.
Okay. All right, so those have both been removed.
James argued his point.
Yep. Very eloquently and reasonably, so let's not sign anything without everyone getting a chance to read it. And we'll have a hearty discussion in June.
Be much nicer outside, Jim.
Yeah.
It'll be a long one. Yes. Oh, great. Wonderful. All right. Is that everything then?
That's it.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Everybody, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, Arnie.
Wednesday.